I'm Chef Frank, this is Protocooks, and today we're making an Italian classic, Cacio e Pepe. Cacio e Pepe, what is it, Chef Frank? Cacio e Pepe is a simple Italian pasta dish. Cacio, basically meaning sheep's milk cheese, pepe meaning pepper. It is super simple, only takes a few ingredients, but you need a little bit of technique to get it right. For my cacio e pepe, this is what you're gonna need. Spaghetti, butter, salt, Parmigiano Reggiano, pecorino romano, and black pepper. Let's talk about the pasta. Most Italians in Italy do not make fresh pasta on the day-to-day. They use dry pasta. Find a really good dry pasta brand that you like and use it, okay? There's no shame in using dry pasta. Actually, this dish is better with dry pasta. I've tried to make it with fresh and it kind of comes out really wonky and I don't like it. Next ingredient I want to talk about is butter. Do not buy the supermarket bargain basement brand butter for this. Buy a nice high butterfat butter. I use Kerrygold in my house. I know it's Irish butter and this is an Italian dish, but it's my recipe. You can also find a really good local butter. This is a Vermont Creamery butter. You want it to be unsalted. You're gonna put the salt in and you'll see where the salt comes later. Buy good butter. Next thing I wanna talk about is the cheese. Traditionally, cacio e pepe is pecorino romano cheese. That's all you use. I like pecorino. It's super sharp, it's super strong, but I also like to add a little mellow nuttiness with some Parmigiano Reggiano. You need to buy good cheese for this. If you buy knockoffs, things not from Italy, cheese made in Wisconsin that has kind of a similar name, it's not gonna be good. I don't buy pre-grated, I grate my own, and I never buy the stuff on the shelf in the container. That's basically sawdust. Don't use it. Buy good cheese. The last thing I wanna talk about is the pepper, the pepe, right? Do not buy pre-cracked black pepper. Grate your own. They sell little graters in the supermarket that is kind of disposable. If you don't have one like this, grate your own black pepper. You will not regret it. Grate your own black pepper. Normally I grate my cheese on a box grater, but I feel like I need it a little finer than this. So if all you have is a box grater, go for it, use it. But today I'm gonna use a microplane. And a microplane is just a very fine grater. It grates the cheese to really nice thin shavings. Originally this was a wood rasp. People would use it for woodworking. I don't know who the first chef that used this in the kitchen was, but it's a great credit to them. If you know who they are, put them down in the description. But I find for cacio e pepe, I like my cheese to be grated fine. I like my cheese to be grated fine. Okay, so you get your pecorino, and I'm just gonna run it over. I'd like to do this into a dish. It makes it a lot easier. I'm only making about 2 portions, so I'm not gonna go too crazy. I'm gonna go heavier on the pecorino and a little lighter on the Parmesan because I really want that sharp pecorino flavor in this. Okay? I think that's good. Put the pecorino aside. And I'm gonna grate the Parmesan in the same container. All right, I think that's good for 2 portions. Let's set this aside, gather all of our ingredients, and cook our pasta. I already have the butter in the bowl. My producer thinks I should have cut the butter on camera, but I cut the butter.
Oh my God, he's so obnoxious. You guys don't think he's nice, he's not. Okay, go.
I got my butter in the bowl. My butter is room temperature. That's really important. Have your butter at room temperature for this. We don't want cold butter. If you use cold butter, it's not gonna come together the way that you want it. Room temperature butter. I chose the Kerrygold in honor of my beautiful Irish wife. Next thing I want to do in this bowl is add a lot of pepper. I'm grating my own. It's fragrant. It's delicious. You do not want to buy pre-ground pepper for this. If you do, the dish will not be good. So I do a fair amount of black pepper. I think that's good. I have this just in case I need a little more. I have salt, but I'm not gonna put it in yet because the cheese is salty and the pasta water is gonna be salty. So this is ready to go. My pasta water is a full rolling boil. I'm gonna season my water, and you want your water to be sea salty. Notice I have everything that I need around me to get this done. It's called mise en place. I have my pepper and my butter. I have my grated cheese. I have extra cheese if I need it. And I have my black pepper. I got my pasta and my bowl ready to go. So I'm making about 2 portions. I'll probably do a little over, about a half a pound, right? You never break pasta. You don't break it, well, especially for this. There's other dishes you might break pasta for, maybe Spanish dishes, but not Italian dishes. Drop it in, right? A lot of people have problems with pasta sticking because they don't have their water boiling at a full rolling boil. I have a pair of tongs, and I'm just gonna swirl it around and kind of twist it with the tongs. So as it melts, or as it melts, as it kind of gets softer, all the pasta gets in there, okay? If your water is boiling, you shouldn't get pasta sticking together, okay? You wanna stir it and stir it every few minutes so that you don't get clumps of pasta. Good. Now we're just gonna let that cook. Let the water come back up to a boil. Don't cover this. Sometimes if you cover your pasta, it tends to get a little soggy. So don't cover it, just go back and stir it occasionally so it's not sticking. And we're gonna cook it to al dente, which means to the tooth. Just a little bit of bite to it. It's so important to have everything that you need close by because once the pasta's done, this goes really quick. And to get it right, you need to be quick about it, okay? So make sure everyone's sitting at the table after you add your pasta to the water because you need to get it done quick. Serve it immediately. How do you tell your pasta's ready? You actually take a piece out and put it in your mouth, okay? Right? This one still is a little chewy. It'll still have kind of a little white dot. That means it's still underdone. If it's chewy and has a little white dot, it's actually a little brittle too, so not ready. Okay, it's time. And what I'm gonna do now is take this pasta and drain it lightly. I still want some of that pasta water in there. I'm gonna put it onto my butter. You notice I didn't put this into a colander. Chef Frank, why didn't you put this into a colander? Because see that pasta water in there? Just in case this gets a little too thick, I have a ladle, and I'm gonna use that pasta water to thin it out. The other reason I didn't use salt in this mix is because my pasta water is salted, right? My pasta soaks up the salty liquid and gets some seasoning. And if I need to use the pasta water here, I can use it, it'll give me some seasoning. Make sure you get your pasta everywhere, right? So don't throw this away. I'm just gonna move it aside. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start to melt that butter, right? Melt that butter, just a little more pasta water, okay? And I'm gonna add my cheese. Nice handfuls of cheese here. Actually, everything goes in the pool. And we stir. Here's the key. Give it a stir, right? If it's too dry, I don't think it's too dry right now. You want a nice creamy sauce from this. I like to stir it really well. You see how it's getting nice and creamy? If it's too thick, you can always add more of your pasta water. I'm gonna add just a touch more pepper. Excellent. Right, it's nice. The cheese is melting. I'm gonna hit it with just a little more pasta water and we'll plate it up. It's kind of saucy and cheesy. Look at that. Look at that. Put it aside. A little more cracked black pepper on top. Don't be shy. I like to hit it with a little more pecorino and parmesan on top. Ooh, yeah, little snow of cheese on top. And that is it. Cacio e Pepe, baby. Time to taste. Get in there with this. Oh my gosh. This is probably a little too much for one person. Just remember, like pasta doesn't need to be the full meal. It could be part of the meal. So if you want to do smaller portions, that's okay. I'm going to give it a little twirly twirl. My Lord. That pecorino romano cheese really stands out. It's super sharp, but you do get some of that nuttiness from the Parmesan. Wow, so good. I'm going in for another bite. Just remember, this dish needs quality ingredients. If you don't use quality ingredients, it's not going to be great. You got to make this. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give us a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. We have merch in the description down below. We have a P.O. box down there as well. I want to thank my Patreon patrons for supporting us. Thank you guys so much. I'm Chef Frank, this is Protocooks, and that is Cacio e Pepe.